Sadgurubhyo Namaha. A very happy afternoon to all of you. Thank you, L-Rock, for creating this opportunity, and thanks to every one of you present here for sharing the next few moments with me. I'm Mrs. Gita Krishna Raj. I'm the National Head of the Sports Sector Skill Council of India, which comes under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. I'm also the CEO of Maverick, India's first physical literacy informed program in schools since 2013. What do you think is your greatest resource? Your body, absolutely. And that is one answer that is uniform for everyone, irrespective of your age, irrespective of your strata, irrespective of where you come from. Our biggest resource is our body, and somewhere we have not given our children that insight on how to ensure that they are physically active for life. This is a little bit of statistics about what WHO tells us about adult population, about children, and how 81% of the adolescents don't have sufficient activity. We know that with so much of virtual reality taking over our lives, people are not moving. I would like to ask, how many of you wish you could actually get up and move now, right now, because you've been sitting for so long? And that is the truth, because your body was not designed to be seated in one place. We all know that physical activity is important and crucial, but knowing is not doing. And somewhere over the period of so many years and decades, we have given so much focus on the academic side and on building scientists and mathematicians and globetrotters and businessmen. And irrespective of whether you want to be a sports star or not, you still need to keep your body healthy. So why is physical education still focusing only on sports? Why not a way by which we can ensure that every child to the last understands the value of being physically active? In India, there are a lot of rising concerns. There is a lot of childhood obesity. We are the diabetic capital of the world, and we know that our children, given the least instance, would not move. That is the primary situation in most places. And we don't have the environment to encourage our children to move because all our cities have become overcrowded. We don't have enough infrastructure to support children to just go out into the street and play. And even physical activity has to be something that is dished out in a structured manner, otherwise they are not going to be moving enough at all. There is one very important aspect to the whole thing, and that is movement is not a break from studies. Movement is the foundation of learning. Movement is the first learning language. When a child is born, our yardsticks are, has the child learned to turn over? Has the child begun to crawl? Has the child stood up? Movement is the first language of learning. And if the child is not crossing those milestones, we ourselves believe that the child is not growing in the right way. And then why suddenly we put them into boxes of classrooms and say, sit quietly, finger on your lips, pay attention? Children are expected to move. Children are designed to move. And if they are allowed to move, they will understand the value of movement and continue that for life. So here I am to introduce a term called physical literacy. I don't know how many of you have heard the term before. But physical literacy is today a global concept. I am a representative of the IPLA, which is the apex body of the concept of physical literacy. And we promote this concept in so many countries that have switched their entire physical education to a physical literacy approach. Physical literacy simply means what is a child or yours or an individual's relationship with movement and physical activity. Given the chance, will you be willing to move, or are you going to choose not to? How are you enjoying being physically active? Has it been driven into you that movement is actually fun? Actually something you don't have to do in order to win over a teammate, but something that you all have to do in order to stay healthy. So this concept of physical literacy is also prevalent now in India. There is a proposition to change Article 21 of the Indian Constitution to make physical literacy a fundamental human right. And from the Government of India, we are taking every effort to ensure that schools understand the concept of physical literacy. And that is why the Sports Sector Skill Council has onboarded us, Maverick, as the national knowledge partner, and me in particular as the national head of the sports and physical education in the country. So to just give you a brief travel, we started this journey in 2013. I was already running a successful fitness company with my husband from 2003. And 2013, we decided that we wanted to do something for the younger kids. And from there, in 2020, we got onboarded in IPLA, the International Physical Literacy Association. We got recognized. The NEP, of course, talks about introducing physical education as a core subject and not as an ancillary. In 2023, we became the national knowledge partner. And this year, hardly a month ago, the National Sports Policy talks about how physical literacy should be the approach. And today, I'm happy to announce that Sports Sector Skill Council is sponsoring several workshops which will come free to schools in order to get not just their physical educators, but even teachers familiar with the idea and principles of physical literacy so that the concept can really spread and we can make our children a lot more active. So from the Sports Sector Skill Council, they offer a whole host of benefits for associating with the SPEFL, which includes accreditation, NSQF-aligned certificates for children, students from grade 10 and 12 getting credit points in their academic bank of credit, and a whole host of teacher training modules that can help and support in the promotion of physical literacy in our schools. The main point that I want to make here is that so long in time we were thinking physical education is skill development of the body. And therefore, those children who were naturally sporty were given an opportunity to enhance their sports skills. But what about your math class? Do you address only those who can go for the math Olympiad, or do you ensure that till the last every child understands arithmetic? Do you teach for every child to be able to communicate, or only those who can go on to become debaters? So why is physical education only for those peak performers? Why not for every child to understand the value of being physically active for life? And in that, the action-feeling cycle is the basis on which the entire concept revolves, that every experience creates an innate feeling which in turn determines the behavior. And if you start making physical education a punishment in your school, where if you're not done your homework, run around the court 2 times. If you're not okay, then do this as a form of punishment, you're introducing in the child the concept that this experience is something I don't like and therefore I will not repeat in future. Instead, if we can make our physical education period something which is very, very positive, with a wide range of activities, not limited to only 1 sport or 2 sports, but a whole movement plethora where you can teach different kinds of movements. You're giving a very rich base for the child to understand that movement is happy. Movement is something that I believe in. Movement is something that I want to embrace for life. So in physical education, the 4 domains that we hope every school will develop is the physical, of course, the skill development, but also the cognitive aspect of how movement can help you understand problem solving, how movement can be your learning language, how it can help you become emotionally confident, emotionally resilient, teach empathy, and how it can help our children become social beings. So a physical literacy program includes rhythmic literacy, contextual interference, brain gym, cognitive reaction time, collaborative games, cognitive value of movement, empathy, embodied emotions, neuroplasticity, pattern recognition, and most importantly, the sanctity of our body. Because if we don't teach our children that your greatest resource is your body, you're not helping them understand that however much AI will develop, however much you may learn how to use AI, and artificial intelligence can take over everything in our lives, but it cannot make you move and healthy. Artificial intelligence cannot replace your body. Artificial intelligence cannot help your muscles grow strong. Artificial intelligence will not help your bones remain active. So somewhere we have to bring in this concept of holistic education. We have a stall right there where we can help you personally understand what is your movement persona so that we don't thrust one single viewpoint on all our children. Competitive sports is a very important aspect of physical education, but it's not the only aspect. And each of us come with a whole domain of different characteristics. Some of us may be aesthetic in nature. Some of us may like a social setting. Some of us may like nature. Some of us may want to be in a cooperative environment where we feel we are doing something larger than life. So how can you identify your movement persona? So do drop in at our stall to pick up your copy of the movement persona and to also register for the resource from the Sports Sector Skill Council on how we can work with your school to promote physical literacy. And on behalf of SPEFL and my team at Maverick, Jai Hind. Maverick.